Hello and welcome to Ninqueso Almost Live. This is episode number 55. I am El Gran Queso and I am joined by the legend, because her mug says so, Miss Bree.
I am 100% legendary.
You sure 100%? Because I mean, most people are made up of like 90%, 70% water, so...
I'm a bit dehydrated today. So yeah, morning,
afternoon, evening, depending what time it is in the part of the world. Don't use my outros and my streams.
I've recently got a follower in Australia, so that's a bit weird. Strange, because the hours are totally back to front. But wherever you are in the world, hello, and to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, keep fighting. We are there with you. If I could, I'd pick up a Kalashnikov and slide on over there. And I do like what you've done. Really, I like what you're doing, particularly the grandma who brought down a drone with a jar of tomatoes. I love you. I can relate. Please be my grandma.
I thought Judge Judy was your grandma.
Well, Judge Judy, she's got a whole load of grandchildren, so there's no vacancies there.
Oh dear, that's not good, is it?
No, it's tragic. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing this week.
Yes, I've noticed, because your playtime in Animal Crossing is like 90 hours already.
I know, right? I started a new island, as the people know, due to some kind of profile nonsense that we got going on. And I really wanted to get the island back to where the previous island was, so at least I could start progressing. But here's the big news of this week. KK is coming.
Oh, wow. You've already got KK. Then
I've got KK coming, so that's it. And also, I've managed to sort of like separate off. I've done some fencing. I've planted a cornfield as well as my vegetable patch. So I'm very, very pleased with myself, to be quite honest.
Good.
I've also managed to separate all of the other islanders off on a separate section because
you'll be able to trap them on their own little island. Once KK bin, you will unlock terraforming, and you'll be able to make hills. You'll be able to make rivers. That's where the real time-consuming stuff comes in, when you start making your paths and everything.
Yeah. At the moment, I think I can do layout changes, but I haven't got there yet. I've just built some bridges.
Yeah, no, you'll actually be able to put a working hat on and actually build levels, knock down levels, get rid of rivers, add rivers. You'll be able to make paths as well. So
I live next to a waterfall, so I'm good with that. Anyway, what have you been playing?
I've been playing lots of stuff because I looked into how to put my Oculus Quest into developer mode so I can side load other things onto it, not from the official store. One of the things I have been playing which I feel like, wow, this is really cool, is the ability to play Virtual Boy games on it in how they would have been on the Virtual Boy. Apart from you can change the colour so it's not this god-awful red and black. It's like black and white. But yeah, I've been playing some of the Virtual Boy games. Because I have played them before on Raspberry Pis, but obviously that's in a TV, so it's just like a flat picture. But yeah, it's just really weird seeing 2D games in a 3D environment. Because you can tell they're like sprites, and they've just put extra bits of sprites next to each other to buff it out, and it just looks really weird. But I liked it. I did like it. But the big thing that I've been playing is I discovered a game was released yesterday in the Asia region. It's nowhere else in the world, unfortunately, but it's free to play. It's Puyo Puyo Molcar Soccer. So I downloaded that from the Japan store, which there is a bit of desync going on when you play on the Japanese servers from the UK, but it's still really, really fun. I quite like it, and I'm going to stream it tomorrow.
Sounds interesting.
It's the little guinea pig cars, if you don't know what Puyo Puyo Molcar is. So they run around squeaking.
Some guinea pigs on
Instagram. It's 3 a side, and yeah, you just try and head a ball into a goal as a guinea pig, and it's really good. My partner Barlett downloaded it as well, and we were teaming up, taking on people as well.
Barlett's great.
Which was good. So if you've got a Japanese account, because it's actually got English language on the Japanese version. So originally I downloaded it from the Hong Kong store, and there's no English language, but there is English language on the Japanese one.
Oh, win.
So that helps. So that's what I've been playing.
That's what we've been playing. Shall we get into it? Because we actually have a lot to cover this week. It's been quite a heavy news week, hasn't it?
So, it has, apparently. I didn't realise it when I was putting it together.
Yeah.
But do you do that quick news?
Type of news that we don't really want to talk about, but we feel we should mention.
Yes. I'm not sure if this is on your one order or not, but Nintendo released a video yesterday with an update on the release date of the sequel. Notice how I don't say Breath of the Wild 2. To the sequel to Breath of the Wild. It has now been pushed back from 2022 into spring 2023.
Yeah, yet again.
Yeah, it's fine. There's enough coming out this year to tide us over. I can play Starfield now without having to worry about Breath of the Wild sequel coming out.
Can't wait. What's happening with Fortnite?
It is looking more and more. I think they might have even announced this now, that the no building mode will be a permanent fixture into Fortnite, but they will be bringing back building as well for the people that like building. I did actually play it the other day, and I actually preferred it. I like it so much more with no building.
Well, it's a bit of a hack for those who are playing on PC, isn't it? So they get an advantage.
Some people are like really good at either really good at building or can keybind where the building is, so they can just like bloop, and it's just like it's so nice to just like having to like hide behind like the terrain that's naturally there. The one thing I will say, though, it's a lot harder to find where people are because you can't see their buildings anywhere. Normally, you can look at, there's a big structure over there. I bet someone's over there. Now it's like, I wonder where they are. Yes. Skate 4, which was only announced a couple of years ago, has entered playtesting phase, says a report. So that should be out before too long. Another rumour.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Is The Mandalorian really happening?
A game of it? Apparently so. There you go.
Yay! That's the rumour.
PS5's DualSense controller has been dubbed the best controller of all time in a public vote. I didn't get to vote. I've never used a DualSense, so I can't even comment.
Public who are asked to vote?
I don't know. I've never used one, so I can't really comment on it. And Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the largest launch of a Kirby game in the UK.
We'll come back to Kirby later on.
Kirby. And that was the quick news. Right, the main stuff. Which was,
we're going into the main news.
Sony. Fancy announcing stuff late on a Tuesday, so I have to update the podcast on a Wednesday. They've announced their new PlayStation membership tiers.
So PlayStation membership is going to go and get sort of like a few more tiers, which gives you access to different stuff. So basically... what they're doing is they're renaming the existing
PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now.
PS Plus Essential. And obviously that really is the monthly PS5 and PS4 downloadable games, plus some discounts, cloud storage and multiplayer access online. So that's just a rename. But when we go up in the extra tiers, which we've got PS Plus Extra, you do get extras, and the extra on PS Plus Extra is there's a catalogue of downloadable games, which is about 400 PS5.
It's very similar to what PlayStation Now is at the moment, but PlayStation Plus is tied into it as well.
And then added to that, you've got PS Plus Premium, so you get PS3 game streaming, and you get PS1, 2 and 3 game catalogue for download and streaming, and some time-limited game trials as well. So this is just extending what's available. Do you have a price structure there, Bestie?
There is a price structure somewhere. Okay, so the basic one is this the basic one?
Yeah, so
PS Plus
$6.99, $8.99, $9.99.
Yeah, so $6.90. We'll do it in UK, in Great British pounds, because that's where we're from. So it's £6.99 a month or $49.99 a year, which is pretty much, I think, what it is at the moment. For the next one, the PS Plus Extra, you are looking at £10.99 a month or $83.99 for the year.
That's a very funny number, $83.99.
It is, isn't it? And the PS Plus Premium, you are looking at $13.49 a month or $99.99 for the whole year. One thing that Sony has actually come out and said in a press release after they've announced this is they are not looking at putting day-in-day releases of their first-party games into this service at all. So that's where it's going to really be different from like Game Pass, is they're still going to be releasing their first-party games and they're not just going to go straight into the catalogue of PS4 and PS5 games that you can download. At some point, they would go in there, I imagine, most games. But they're not going to be releasing them day and date. So, I don't know. For me, I don't really use my PlayStation that much. I don't think I'll be getting this. I've got Game Pass, and I like that the brand new games go into there, rather than just the ones that have been out for ages.
Yeah, so I'm exclusively Xbox and Switch, so this is not really going to be that much for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
It is.
It seems
I think
sort of like a mix of views online about what people are going to go for. So I think there's something for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think the biggest thing for the premium package, the third tier, is what games they're going to show up with and how many there's going to be there. People
are saying is before they drop the money of that, they want to see what's going to be available. Yeah. So I think the key to whether this is actually going to be at premium.
The interesting thing especially about the PS1 era is Sony didn't have that many first party games in the PS1 era. Most of it was like their big games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. They weren't owned by Sony because obviously, well, technically they're owned by Microsoft now once the deal goes through, but they weren't owned by Sony. So it'd be interesting to see what actually gets into the service.
Yeah.
So
so very interesting development.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got PlayStation and you like your PlayStation a lot, I'm sure it's very, very exciting. Just like looking at the surface, I don't think, even if I had a PS5, I don't think I would shift from Game Pass over to this.
No.
Because I like having a machine where I don't have to buy games for it, really. That's basically what the Xbox is. I don't have to buy any games for it.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway, shall we move on to the people kicking balls around?
Move on.
Yeah. FIFA is reportedly being rebranded EA Sports Football Club.
Because FIFA wanted a huge amount of Mahoney to reissue the license for FIFA, and EA Sports basically said no thanks, and they're well enough established, I think, to make this work.
Yeah, so I think when you look at the overall thing, yes, I reckon, because I know FIFA is actually looking for someone else to take over the license now, and I think the people that are going to be that won't really realise what's going on and just like, oh, I want the new FIFA game. I think they've sat back and gone, okay, so it's going to cost us like $2 billion or whatever it was to get the license. How much money are we realistically going to lose with people with getting a bit mistaken about the game?
Yeah.
So
FIFA apparently demanded more than double their previous fee to continue the license. So EA, we said last year that they were pretty much
and I think what also people need to remember is this doesn't affect the teams or the players. It's just the FIFA name. You're still going to have the official players and stuff in the games. Yeah. So, let's hope if it works out, it works out. But
yeah, I mean, the question you've got to ask yourself is, are the games selling on the merits of their gameplay, or is it because footy fans care that strongly about FIFA League? And I think, obviously, EA have made a calculation and said, well,
the thing is, there's no real I think the only thing that could come round to bite them is the fact there's no real competition at the moment for football games. So obviously if FIFA finds someone else to do it, then EA have kind of created their own competition.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, that is also a good thing because that will make both companies strive to make better and better games rather than just sitting back going, oh, we'll just update the rosters and put pretty much the same game out again.
Yeah.
Which is Switch. FIFA on the Switch. Anyone?
So shall we talk about Robert Kotick?
Oh, why not? I haven't actually looked into this one that much. I just saw it and was like, oh, not again.
Somebody needs to pull a Will Smith on this dude. I'd like to say I don't condone violence. Anyway, so there's a lawsuit. A lawsuit has come out which is hitting Activision Blizzard with harassment and discrimination. And this is from... it's been filed in Los Angeles, obviously.
Yeah.
On behalf of a current employee who is not named. It basically has many many allegations in it, and it lays bare the culture and what they label that as is a frat boy environment. And there are 700 reported incidents of sexual harassment and discrimination, not just obviously verbal, which is bad enough, but this woman reports it being commonplace for female employees to be groped, which is absolutely appalling. Male co-workers behaving like that in the workplace really goes back to Robert Kotick, because he, as CEO, he will set the standard. And this female employee actually complained to him personally, and she was effectively demoted for it. Stuff has been swept under the rug. Now, obviously, we know that Activision Blizzard has been acquired recently.
Well, it's still in the process, but yeah, it looks like it's going to go through.
And it was expected that Kotick was going to leave the company at that point. But what's interesting about this lawsuit is it actually seeks to have him fired, and that kind of speaks to just how bad it was and the input that he had on continuing this harassment, assault, and toxic work environment. So it's wow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, looking from the outside, for me, hopefully he does get fired, because otherwise when Microsoft take over, he's going to get a massive paycheck to walk away. Whereas if this lawsuit gets him out, then he's gone.
And far too often, this is what we see. We see white, male, middle-class millionaires who have presided at the top of the companies with an absolutely appalling record with women and minorities, and they just walk away with millions of dollars and stock options, and nothing happens. I've been watching the Boeing documentary on Netflix this week, and this is exactly what happened. Is they basically caused the death of hundreds of people, swept it under the rug, continued to deny there was a problem, and eventually when the FAA sort of came through and noticed it all, what they allowed was Boeing to pay billions of dollars in fines, and the CEO walked away with $68 million full pension, where he should have been subject to criminal prosecution, in my opinion. And I think, that's what should happen here, but it won't. So I think what this lawsuit is an attempt to hold the person accountable who should be held accountable.
Yeah.
I really hope he's fired, but my gut feeling tells me that the same will happen as always happened, is the privilege will outweigh justice. And I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, move on.
Yes, let's move on. Nintendo has come out and responded to the Wii and DSi shop outages, because if you don't know, the Wii and the DSi shops, e-shops actually went down a while back. And it took a while for anyone to notice, let's be true. No one noticed straight away, because you can't buy games on them anymore, but you can re-download software that you own. And it was down.
Apparently, the statement that they said was they're currently undergoing maintenance. Will provide an update at a later date. I don't know what that really means.
It means, we'll get round to it. We'll do it sometime, but if we don't, whatever. Right. Yeah, I mean, the priority of this is low to Nintendo. It's very annoying, I think, if you do need to download your games again. But obviously Nintendo have the analytics of how many people actually use these services. And, they're obviously trying to make things good with the Switch and everything at the moment. So that's where their priorities lie. And this is kind of just like, we'll get to it at some point.
At some point, yeah. I mean, technically, it's just the front end of the shop that is down, because you can bypass this. With third-party tools. So NUS Downloader, Eurogamer is saying it appears to be just the front-end sites as well. So, it seems like, not sure. They haven't disabled the system completely, but I think we've just got to see what happens, because as you say, low usage says to me, do they want to put the resources in?
Exactly, because it's money to fix, and maybe this is just like, do you know what? Let's just leave it.
Yeah.
You know, quietly, just like, oh, it's gone. Sorry. And that's the problem with the digital age that we're moving into.
Anyway, moving on. Call of Duty is coming to Switch.
Potentially, yes. The rumours are saying that there's going to be some of the older Call of Duty games remastered for the Nintendo Switch.
Well, come on. The Switch is selling so hot.
You know,
they have to do this, surely.
If you look at, like, okay, where we are at the moment, the current systems are obviously like the Switch, PS5, and the Xbox Series consoles. Xbox Series and PlayStation are only just getting out the gate, so their user numbers are pretty low. And the Switch is over 100 million sold now, so there is a point where it's just like, do you know what? We're going to have to start putting stuff on the Switch, because it just makes sense, doesn't it, really? Yeah, I've never really been into the Call of Duty games myself. I've played like the odd one or two, but I don't think I've ever played one the whole way through. But yeah, so it's rumoured that is it Call of Duty Black Ops 2? Oh no, what am I looking at? No, that was the last one that came out on the Wii U, was Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and Call of Duty Ghosts was the Wii U. So I think it was like Modern Warfare they were sort of saying was potentially the one that was going to happen. Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered would be the one that they're thinking is probably going to happen to the Switch. Which, let's be real, that's an Xbox 360 game, so there's no real issue as to why it wouldn't run on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to have these sort of games on there, because it just gives a wider variety that's on there, really.
It's not for me, but I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think it's good to have it. I'm always, aware when I've played Modern Warfare that I'm up against people playing on PC who have got a significant advantage on me.
What you mean with their like the widescreen views and things?
It makes me bitter.
Yeah, that's the one problem with cross-platform play, isn't it? That's one of the reasons why it's like when Fortnite first came out, I used to like playing it on the Switch, because you would be matched with others, because like the Switch was an inferior version. It was only like 30 frames a second, not 60. So you'd get matched with people who were playing it on mobile. Yeah. So it was actually significantly easier on the Switch, because you had proper controls and you weren't playing on a mobile device.
Yeah, but overall, it's a good move. The more stuff we can get on the Switch, the better. I think it'll continue to grow. Anyway,
Nintendo they do some funny things. I mean, even I think this is like, really, you're copyright striking this?
A copyright strike on a scanned out of print user guide. Yeah,
from 1996. Someone took these lovely high definition scans, uploaded it to I can't remember say what site it was. It was a site where you could view them, and Nintendo copyright struck it and got it taken down.
Yeah, I mean they actually have a zero tolerance, but yeah, this was a paper guide. It was a book that was issued in 1997, was it? Something like that.
Yeah, 1996.
1996
for Super Mario 64.
Yeah, Super Mario. So, and it's a lovely thing, to be honest. It was got commentary from the likes of Shigeru Miyamoto, lots of gorgeous dioramas.
Yeah, it had like 3D models of the levels actually made for it and things.
Yeah, and the guide is pretty hard to get hold of. It's 152 pages only, but it changes hands for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And so obviously I'm not sure why they've chosen to give a copyright strike on this, because it's a scan of it. It actually, the person who's had the copyright strike, basically their comment is that it's helping Nintendo. And it's hurting those scalpers who, change hands for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But, like we said before, zero tolerance from Nintendo. We should have expected it.
Pretty
Never
much.
mind.
It is an odd one to do, though, because obviously they're not selling this guide anymore. I doubt they've got any plans in doing anything with it themselves. Mm. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate one. Nintendo are a little bit stroppy sometimes. Yeah. But we know this about Nintendo. It's kind of, it's their charm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love the fact they've got zero intolerance. They're like an angry parent, aren't they? I like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Yes.
It's been times at Polyphony Digital. Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah, more Gran Turismo 7 news.
Oh my goodness. So, we covered the huge backlash that we'd had last week over the issue of the microtransactions and the game economy. That this is a full price game, so it's sort of 70 quid, something like that. And what they've done is they'd shifted the economy in the game to emphasize microtransactions. And our comment and the comment of pretty much everybody else who likes gaming is that you can have one or the other, love. Don't, pick one. So they've had to issue a patch really to re.
Yeah, they're going to start giving more money away for things.
So what they're calling is de-emphasizing the microtransactions, but I think the backlash is just insane. And just to mention, for those who didn't catch last week, you can actually go back and look about what we talked last week. But what they really sort of like were saying that, well, this is kind of is in the real world, but the backlash was so incredibly intense that even people were coming back and saying, hold on a minute, the review copies that you sent out weren't like this. The message boards were all full of people completely raging, and they were looking to reissue reviews on the various different review websites. The backlash was that big. So I think eventually they had to listen, but it was begrudgingly.
Yes, definitely. They tried to get away from it as long as possible, didn't they? And then it's like, okay, this is not going away, is it?
Yeah, they finally gave in.
They are adding the ability as well, apparently. I don't know when it's going to be added, but they are going to add the ability for you to sell your cars that you don't want anymore.
But now we talk about an offline mode, shall we?
An offline mode would be good. It really would be, but little baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. But yeah, that's being rebalanced, and hopefully we'll start to see a lot more. Plus, also, I think this speaks to a bigger issue of issuing games for review which are not representative of what people actually.
It's so bad. I mean, this isn't. Let's be fair. This isn't the first time this has happened. Other games have done this as well. Added things in after reviews have gone out. So, and that's again. That's just the.
In the foot here.
That's just the issue. That's just one of the issues with the digital age that we're moving into. At any point, the games can be drastically changed. So. And
also issuing games too soon, getting them to market when they are just not ready.
Yeah. Exactly, which is why it's good that Zelda has been delayed.
We will continue to comment on this over the, I feel that this is a story we'll come back to again and again.
Yeah,
and again.
I think it's going to. Yes, this is going to get worse and worse as we go into this whole digital future and things like that. Right, 343. They've explained the lack of communication over the Halo Infinite Season 2.
And they're caught between a rock and a hard place. So, obviously there's this thing of, we want you to be open and transparent about what's going on. And then when stuff is delayed, because quite honestly, game development is a bit hit and miss at the best of times. Yeah. You can't really say it ever goes smoothly because of the nature of the beast. So obviously there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be problems, things perhaps get delayed or come early. And, because they're being open and honest and transparent and everything, and they say, this is what we kind of expect, and then if there's a delay, I don't think they can win either way, really. They
can't. I think the problem is, it's like Halo Infinite was so anticipated, and it is very. I've not played the multiplayer for a while now, but it was very, very bare bones. I only played like one day. It was like, it's all right, I guess, but it's not really for me. And yeah, but the thing is with all of these kind of games like that are live service that go on, they grow over time, and you just got to give it that time. 2 years down the line, I imagine this is going to be so much different.
Yeah. So, head of creative Joseph Staten did an interview talking about communication levels, and the quote is, "It's challenging to always be constantly open and transparent with fans because we don't want to expose them to the uncertainty and sometimes the churn that happens on any game development process. The decision we're making, though, and I believe this is the right one, even though it's hard some days, is to make sure when we talk to our fans, they can rely on what we say. Fans are really soon going to be exposed to some really cool stuff, and that's what we've got going on for season 2. Yeah. He didn't really say anything, to be fair, but, you know, it's fair comment what he says about trying to communicate accurately, yet, you know, be aware of the fact that things can change. But it's an honest response, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with games for me is like, I do like what Nintendo do with announcements. They very rarely announce things now until things are ready to go. And then you get the flip side, like the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3. They've all been announced for so long now. And it's just like, I would rather just find out about games a couple of months out, you know, 3-4 months out from them.
You are not a very patient person.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of just like pointless. It's like this whole Star Wars eclipse. Oh, it's probably going to come in like 2026. Well, why the hell are you telling us now? Who cares? You know?
I feel like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Starfield, I feel rageful now over Starfield because I've been waiting that long.
Oh, it's Elder Scrolls 6 as well. Like, we had the reveal. The reveal, what, 2000? It was at the live E3, so it's like 2019, 2000, and we've not seen anything of it. It's just like,
it's fucking my will to live.
We all knew this was like in development. Just wait till we're a bit closer. You got something to show.
Don't do this to me. I'm getting old. I might not make it that long.
Exactly. You know, I might not be here, and then I'll be on my deathbed going, bloody hell, I don't get to play Star Wars Eclipse. I'm so annoyed.
Yeah. Because that's what's important in our life. Anyway, let's come back to Nintendo.
Yes.
Nintendo operating system update has been issued, and they've given us folders.
Well,
which is terribly exciting. But we felt we should mention it.
Yeah, so many people I don't know, I hear it all the time on the internet. Oh, we need folders and themes for the Switch. It's just like, why? I can honestly say I am never going to use this function. Yeah.
So the folders that on the Switch, they're named groups, and in typical Nintendo way, they are kind of a bit basic. There are, there's no themes, no pictures, or what have you. But I think for people who have a huge amount of games on their Switch, and I really I've got a 400 gigabyte micro SD card in it, which I can't fit all my games on. So that gives you an indication of how many games I've got. But I've never had a problem going, oh, where's this game I want to play? It's funny because you and me are the exact opposite. You literally jump from game to game to game to game, and and me, I have maybe 1 or 2 games which I have to play through completely and finish every bit in its entirety, and then I'll switch to a new one. So you're a bit of a game whore.
I am. I like the idea of all the games. Like, oh, I need to own that, and then I never get around to playing it. But yeah, for me, folders, I don't see the point in just dumping my games into a folder.
People like to organise their stuff.
I guess, but themes.
If anybody's seen the inside of your house, they would understand why you don't see the point of folders.
But themes as well. Can we just touch on everyone complaining about themes? Why? How long do you really spend on your Switch menu? How long? Exactly. Why do you need themes? Anyway,
people like to have identity. That's
it's true, but whatever. Yes. Do you want to win? Do you want to win a Sonic the Hedgehog themed Xbox Series S?
Yes.
Do you want to use those controllers though?
I do.
Controllers really appearing here now.
I want
ridiculous.
These.
For those listening, the Xbox Series S looks really, really cool. I do like the Xbox Series S. You got Sonic and Knuckles at the bottom. It's a black Xbox Series S. It's got round the circle bit of the air vent. It's got gold ring, and then you got a blue and red controller that's covered in fur.
How furry controllers?
They are going to get. You couldn't use them for any length of time. They will get so dirty and disgusting.
The blue one reminds me a bit of Sully from Monsters Inc.
That's true, yeah. But they're just going to get so dirty.
Yeah, they're a bit Muppetish, but yeah, I love it.
I do like this.
I don't know who designed this, but I want to give them, yeah. It would get covered in like
it would
cheap dust.
It would. If you couldn't, you'd have to make sure you washed your hand for touching these things every single
don't
time.
Eat snacks at the same
don't
time.
Eat and play. Don't touch anything. But yeah.
But I would have it without, in a heartbeat. I'd have this.
I do like the Series S though. That looks really good. Right. Are you hungry?
Oh man, the Kirby Cafe. The Kirby Cafe is in Japan. So when we go for our Japanese tour, Ninqueso on tour, that's another.
We're going to have to go to the Kirby Cafe.
Going to Nintendo World. We're going to find what's his name in the woods?
Sonic.
Sonic in the woods, and we're also going to the Kirby Cafe. So 30th anniversary themed. Kirby
you've got like
food.
You've got like a burger. You've got like the mouthful mode car. I don't even know what that is. I imagine it's some really nice dessert.
Oh wow, it looks
there's
amazing.
Nice little cake.
And there's also crockery to go with it.
Yeah, it's so nice. It looks so cool.
I honestly love it. Weird the pink bun for the burger, a bit strange, but honestly, I am up for it. I haven't had my lunch yet, so obviously I'm not.
Right.
I'm looking for this right now. I would like to get a copy of like the full menu, but truthfully. You
couldn't eat the full menu, so just a few bits are fine. But yeah, it looks nice.
I'm also ambitious, but I'm all a little bit about the same foods. So yeah, it looks good. It
does, and that was the news for this week.
That's this week's news.
Right, this is the point of the show where you can ask us questions. You can either leave a comment down on the YouTube videos if you're watching it there, or you can get us on Twitter with the hashtag Ninqueso Live, or you can just message us. You can do that on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at GamerGirlMissBree. So that's
right.
GMGRL_MISS.
I do have a question.
Oh, you have a question?
It's not a good question. It's not a great question. It's food related again.
Okay.
What is your current favourite donut from Krispy Kreme? Because they just had a Rolo one and they were really happy with the Rolo one.
My current favourite is really when they do the original glazed warm with ice cream.
Yeah, they are good. I do like the blonde chocolate one they got going at the moment though.
We went for donuts last Saturday, didn't we?
We did. And I had a Mother's Day donut and a blonde chocolate donut, which was supplied to me by you.
Donut, it's got like a lemon frosting and a raspberry jam in the middle, which is nice. Not that I tried it. You said it was nice. And you also had the chocolatey one, didn't you?
Yeah, the blonde chocolate one, which is like a white chocolate filling with a white chocolatey top. And that's quite nice. But I do like white chocolate.
Honestly, my all-time favourite would be the Reese's, but they don't do that
in
the UK.
That's why we were asked what our current favourite was. Because they knew it'd be Reese's otherwise.
Other than the original glazed warm with ice cream, I do occasionally like to have the Biscoff one, but it's so sickly that I generally can't finish all of it. What I would tend to do is have half of it with some ice cream. You see, there's a theme here. Sort of like as a dessert, but it's quite a lot, quite sickly for me because I don't eat a lot of sugar. Being hyperactive, it's usually quite bad for me to have a lot of sugar. The first time I ever went to a dessert parlour, it ended badly, and I'll tell you that story on another episode. But I got told off a lot. I would say that I was in my 40s at the time, but yeah, it was bad.
Taking pre-workout as well is not good for you. Especially when someone is trying to do their assessment for their personal training certificate and you're my guinea pig. You're bouncing off the walls on pre-workout.
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this before, but yeah, I am very, very hyperactive. So yeah, anything that has too much sugar in it or, any sort of stimulant in it, can be bad. Although sort of usually the stimulant does make me quite hyper, and then about 2 hours after that, I crash and I want to sleep. So yeah.
Do you have any questions for us this week?
I don't have any questions for us.
That's good because you had a lot of news.
We did have a lot of news, yeah.
We're already at the 40-minute mark.
We are. We better wrap things up.
I know.
Anyway, bestie, are you ready? Are you ready? Have you got something lined up?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I'll count you in. 3, 2, 1.
Will we ever find a game that involves eating donuts? Find the questions to these answers. Same cheesy time, same cheesy channel.
Actual stories may vary. That's all for this week. Say goodnight, bestie.
Good night, bestie.